What's going on, everyone? It's Rifle here, and thanks for checking out this Fallout 76 video. I just wanted to say I am extremely grateful for the support to the first episode of this series. Seems like a lot of you guys actually do want me to continue this, and I couldn't be happier to, because this is something I'm actually having fun testing out, because I really want to figure out some new areas to nuke besides just White Springs and the Fisher Site Prime, which spawns the Scorch Beast Queen, in case you don't know. Don't get me wrong, that fight is fun, a lot of fun. But it'd be even more exciting if there was more fights like the Scorch Beast Queen around in Fallout 76 that we just haven't discovered quite yet. Because in all honesty, I don't think there has been that many experiments, because most people don't want to waste their time once they are officially able to launch the nuke, because it can take quite a bit of time to get to the very end to actually officially launch it. And not to mention, you're gonna have to have the codes and all that jazz. It can be pretty tedious to launch a nuke, which is understandable why most people launch at White Springs and the Fisher Site Prime, because they know logically it's worth it to launch. Most people just don't want to waste what they just took quite a bit of time to be able to do. So that is the reason for this series. We're going to be figuring out what locations are and aren't worth it to nuke. So far, it's still White Springs and the Fisher Site Prime. Previously, we tried Twin Lakes, and it did evolve the Behemoth, which was nice, but it wasn't nearly as tough of a fight than going up against, say, the Scorch Beast Queen, which that is the goal out of this, to find something similar to that, or to be able to fight as many enemies as we do at White Springs. I know the nerf is incoming soon, where they're going to be decreasing the experience from what we get at White Springs, so this is a good time to actually start this series. Not many people are going to want to just continue to go to White Springs. It's not going to give us as much experience. Before I get into this, I just want to leave a friendly reminder, because this does take quite a bit of time to put together. If you find this enjoyable, consider leaving a like. It's always greatly appreciated. And also, if you want, consider sticking around and subscribing for more future Fallout 76 content. You know, obviously that's totally up to you though. But let's go ahead and jump into this. So the first of the 3 locations in this video that me and my team will be nuking is the crashed space station at the top of the map over by the water park. A few of you did suggest to me that I should nuke this area, and I can see why. Who knows, maybe if I do nuke this area, there will be some aliens that I could encounter here or something. I mean, I don't know exactly, but I can see why you guys was wanting me to nuke this area. It is pretty empty over here, and we'd have plenty of room for a boss fight if there is one. And in case you don't know, yes, it's completely 100% confirmed that there is supposed to be aliens in Fallout 76. They're in the guidebook. And I'm not talking about the Flatwood monsters. So let's go ahead and see what we experience when we nuke it. The final verdict for nuking the crashed space station is a complete waste of time. Do not waste your time nuking this area whatsoever. There is a few enemies that you will encounter, and that's that. Maybe a Scorch Beast will land over here if you're lucky, get a little bit more experience. But other than that, nothing. Zilch. Didn't get no aliens. I was disappointed. I was hoping for aliens. They are around here somewhere, and we're going to eventually find them. Anyways, yeah. Nuking the area, obviously, is a waste of time. If you do come over to this place sometime, you can get a spacesuit. You gotta enter in a password, which you can find on this letter next to this dead scientist, who was obviously a part of this space station. And the password, believe it or not, is the release date of Fallout 76. It's 11/14/2018, but 11/14/18. That's all you have to enter on the keypad to open up this space door and get you a spacesuit complete with the helmet. And if you come here with a team, there will be more that will spawn, just so your team members can also pick them up. Thought you'd want to know about that, since I am covering this area and whether or not it's good to nuke. No, but it is good to come to if you don't have the spacesuit and you're wanting it. Anyways, next up, I'm going to do the Stonehenge location, which technically this is a Carhenge, but it's referencing Stonehenge, so I just call this the Stonehenge location. It's very hidden over at the northeast side of the map. It's actually over near a location that a lot of us do go to, which is the munitions factory. It's a little above that, as you can see. I figured this would be a cool area to nuke, just because not a lot of players know about this area, so this kind of brings it more on the map, so more players do know about this cool area that you can go to. And also you can set up a camp here if you want. Keep that in mind. It'd be a pretty cool camp location. But what I'm going to be seeing is what happens when we nuke this Carhenge, which this was also in Fallout 4, in case you don't know. There was a behemoth by the Carhenge in Fallout 4. Sadly, there isn't one, obviously, in Fallout 76, but there is a group of super mutants that will spawn here, along with a super mutant warlord and a random enemy. Sometimes it can be a death claw, sometimes it can be a mega sloth. I mean, it's really random. Also, you can get different enemies besides just super mutants as well, but that is typically what does spawn here. I have gotten ghouls and even ants before. So I thought, honestly, this could be an area that we could target and see if something comes about from this area. In case you don't know, Stonehenge is probably one of the biggest wonders in the world. So I think it's pretty interesting that Bethesda decided to add this in such a random location in Fallout 76. I mean, it's worth a shot. I'm not sure what we're going to be able to get to spawn here. Like I mentioned though, there was a behemoth typically next to this in Fallout 4. And if you think about it, this Carhenge is kind of like a bullseye for a bomb to hit. I don't know. I guess we're about to see if it actually does chain react something or not. Alright, so the bomb has officially hit, and it's safe to say that this place is also a huge waste of time to nuke. I mean, we did get a glowing death claw. This was pretty sweet. It was one of the random enemies that was fighting those super mutants, but once again, nothing nearly as difficult as taking on the Scorch Beast Queen, nor nearly as much enemies as we would get at White Springs. So, once again, another dud location. Come on, when is something gonna start looking up? I was really hoping for something interesting to chain react out of this, because it's in such a random area. I don't know, sooner or later during this series, we're gonna find something that is just as good as White Springs and the Scorch Beast Queen. Hopefully. Lastly up here is another one that was suggested by the community, and that is New Gad. And I can see where you guys are coming from with wanting this place to be experimented with. Just because there's quite a bit of super mutants that are in New Gad. And not to mention, around New Gad, there is a lot of open land. I'm not gonna lie, when I was first heading to this area on the map, I thought there was going to be way more water than what there was. There's hardly any water around too. We got this little stream, as you can see, that flows through this location. So with it being more open, we may have a potential chance to have a boss fight here. Let's just see what happens already once we nuke this area. So the nuke has been launched, and I hate to say it, but this was also not worth it whatsoever. I mean, there was only a few level 68 super mutants here that spawned. I really don't get it. I know Bethesda didn't just make 2 locations worth it to nuke in this game. There has to be more. I do not doubt it whatsoever that there's other locations that can be just as worth it to get experience rather than having to nuke White Springs. And also, there is going to be other locations like the Scorch Beast Queen. At least my optimistic side is saying yes, there's going to be. It's a mystery right now. And sooner or later, we may chain react people to not waste their time as much with nuking certain locations. Because once again, it can take quite a bit of your time to even be able to launch a nuke. It is pretty tedious, and once you are officially able to launch it, you want to make sure you're doing it at a place that is actually worth it, and you're going to get good experience or good rewards. Or heck, who knows, maybe nuking an area could unlock something that we haven't discovered, not just technically fighting things. could unlock a new area to explore. I mean, I don't really know. Possibilities are endless, and Bethesda has the power to add in what we want into the game over time. Which it would be cool to nuke other areas and get similar fights as we did with the Scorch Beast Queen around in the game.